Today we're on to making more begleries, this time monkey fist begleries. If you remember, we did the heavy metal, the really cheap PVC begleries. Here's another heavy metal, beaded begleries. Here's a whole handful of previous builds. When I started looking into begleries and building them, I saw a lot of monkey fist begleries, and I was a little put off by it because doing this by hand, they were doing that, using their fingers, and some people are very coordinated and they do really well on that. I came up with this, the monkey fist rig, and you can see below how I built this. Very inexpensive, but this is how I'm going to make my 3/4 inch ball bearing beglery. A couple other design features that you want to think about when you're making any kind of beglery is the weight of the balls on the end. These weigh in just about an ounce, which to me is the sweet spot, because all the begleries that I had that come anywhere between 3/4 of an ounce and an ounce seem to work really well in the hand and having a nice spin to them. You can go with the thicker Paracord. I prefer the thinner stuff. This is 90-pound Paracord. This is actually bead thread, what they call it. It's not 90 pounds, but it certainly does the job. We know, having done a bunch of these begleries, that we want the knot to be around and then back through like this. One of the biggest challenges for me to make a monkey fist is how much cord are you going to need? You don't want to estimate and get it wrong and then get to the end of the build of the monkey fist and you don't have enough, and yet you don't want to drag 20 feet of cord through the jig. So I've come up with a simple rule that I think works well. This is my guess at about 6 feet. Here we go, all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Transition means it's going to go in the other way. You're going to do 3 laps around the ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the way around. Transition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's at 6 feet. So I'm going to cut it off there at 6 feet, 6 wraps around the device, just as a guess. There we go, commitment. When you're making a lot of rounds, loops, whatever you want to call it, this is where a jig really pays off. It allows you to keep things together. It's easy to count. You can kind of look at it from different angles. So here we go. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now I'm going the other way. So I'll raise it all up and take it around this way. 6 laps. You want to keep them not overly tight. If it's too tight, when you do the third set of passes, it's going to be really difficult to go around this way. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4. That's the 6th one. What I'm learning, especially on the smaller ones that are a little more finer detail, you really got to check over, make sure you got the right amount of passes on each side, make sure there's no curls of the cord as you keep going, doing circles. It sometimes gets bound up and you can't even see it if it's on the bottom here. So now, what I consider the most difficult in between here, and then under through, and then up the other side. So here we go with that. Sometimes these fids are really helpful. So you just take them, twist them in like that, and that makes it go a little faster. If you're going to make a lot of monkey fist, the jig makes sense, and these paracord needles make a lot of sense. So run that through like that. Make sure that that stays in place. Just take patience. You want to learn how to do the exact amount of tension, and it takes a little bit of experience to do that. Run it back down through here. Comes up. See, the needles really help out. Okay, first lap. Comes down. Down in there. Going on to lap number 2. Raise it up a little bit. Sure the jig stays in the right holes. Go. Down and through again. And this is exactly the way I did the other side right here. Doesn't make any sense. Sometimes it falls off the needle, and you just thread it back on. The estimate on the paracord was pretty good. You've got about a foot left, so maybe somewhere between 5 and 6, but you really need the space to run the needle. Take it off the jig, and now it's just a matter of tightening it up and making it look more like this. In case you haven't seen somebody tighten it up, it's just you're just tugging on the various sides, equaling them all out. If you don't like that knot there, you can do what I did on this side. Right now I'm using it for a kind of as a marker to once again keep that distance down, which is the distance that I like the length I like the Begleris to have between end to end. Don't over tighten it, because what happens is then it all kind of gets out of whack and it won't be even on all the sides. So we're going to tighten this up just a little bit at a time, work the string around, and I'll be back with you in a moment. Tightening a monkey fist is kind of like solving a puzzle. And eventually you solve the puzzle. There you go. Fairly even. Got here, like I said, if you don't like this knot here, all you got to do, at this point, it's no longer a reference. Undo it, pass it through. Voila! A completed monkey fist Begleri. Use my handy dandy clippers. Oh, don't clip the wrong end, that would be horrible. You pull it out a little bit. Finish the end. And then pull it in on both sides. Trim this end. Make sure once again you trim the right end. Finish it off so it doesn't. You can bury that back in there. And you got Monkey Fist Begleri. And for me, that's just about as perfect as it gets as far as length. If for some reason it ends up being too long, just like I've mentioned before in some of my other Begleries, you can shorten up the cable or the cord by putting a knot or two in there, and it really doesn't affect the thing. I'm kind of liking a little bit longer now. Once you get a little experience, you might like it a little longer. Thumbs up and comments always appreciated. Stay tuned for more builds, Begleries, Monkey Fist using this device. See you later.